The 18 to 22-week scan is the best to detect structural abnormalities in the developing fetus. Miss a plane, and you miss a finding. In this video, I'm going to show you a structured, systematic approach, the 20+2 planes approach, also called the 22-plane approach. The approach consists of 2 overview sweeps, one at the beginning and one at the end of the examination, and 20 individual planes, specific cross-sectional or longitudinal views of distinct fetal anatomical regions. Let's go. Why a structured approach? The mid-trimester scan has 2 jobs. First, biometry, measuring the fetus to confirm dates and growth. Second, anatomy, reviewing every major organ system to exclude structural abnormalities. Most sonographers can do biometry in their sleep. Anatomy is harder because there's no built-in order. Without a system, you'll revisit the same structures, skip others, and finish the scan unsure whether you've been thorough. The 20+2 approach solves this by giving you a fixed sequence that flows logically through the fetus, defined structures to assess at every step, specific measurements where they're needed, clear criteria for when to refer. When done correctly, this approach gives you the opportunity to identify or exclude approximately 50 structural abnormalities, including intrauterine death, in a single systematic pass. Here's the structure at a glance. Sweep 1, longitudinal overview of the whole fetus. Planes 1 to 3, spine, planes 4 to 6, head, planes 7 to 10, thorax and heart, planes 11 to 13, abdomen, plane 14, pelvis, planes 15 to 17, limbs, planes 18 to 20, face, sweep 2, transverse vertebral sweep, neck to sacrum. Total 22 components, 2 sweeps for global orientation, 20 targeted planes for detailed anatomy. Sweep 1, initial orientation. Before touching a single plane, do a longitudinal sweep of the entire fetus. This tells you fetal lie and position, which way is the baby facing. Whether the skull is intact, your first screen for anencephaly. That the heart is present and beating, your first screen for intrauterine death. Both of those findings can be identified right here before any measurements are taken. This sweep also sets up your strategy for the rest of the scan. Know where the spine is, and the next planes follow naturally. Planes 1 to 3, spine, plane 1, sagittal spine with skin covering. Align your probe along the length of the spine. You're looking for 2 ossification centers per vertebra, from T1 to S5, and intact skin over the entire dorsal surface. A break in the skin, particularly over the lumbosacral region, raises the possibility of open spina bifida. Plane 2, coronal spine. Rotate to coronal, you now see the spine in a different axis. This is useful for assessing alignment and confirming no lateral curvature. Plane 3, coronal body. A broader coronal view assessing the overall body shape and situs, the relationship of organs to left and right. Findings you can identify from planes 1 to 3, open spina bifida, meningocele, sacral agenesis, sacrococcygeal teratoma, left-sided diaphragmatic hernia, and abnormal abdominal situs. Planes 4 to 6, head. From the spine, rotate 90 degrees and move up to the head. Plane 4, transventricular plane. This is your lateral ventricle plane. Assess the skull shape, size, and integrity. The midline falx. Is it present and continuous? The cavum septum pellucidum, present between the anterior horns? Both anterior horns and posterior horn of the lower lateral ventricle. Measure this. Referral criterion. Posterior horn greater than 10 millimeters indicates ventriculomegaly. Plane 5, transthalamic plane. Slide minimally from plane 4. You're now at the level of the thalami. Take biparietal diameter, BPD, and head circumference, HC. Refer if either fall outside the normal range for gestational age. Plane 6, transcerebellar plane. Rotate posteriorly from plane 4. Now you see the posterior fossa, the cerebellum, cerebellar hemispheres, and cisterna magna. Findings detectable across planes 4 to 6. Ventriculomegaly, lemon-shaped skull, banana-shaped cerebellum, Chiari-2 malformation, allobar hollow prosencephaly, occipital encephalocele, large posterior fossa cyst, cystic hygroma, and skin edema. Planes 7 to 10. Thorax and heart. From the head, rotate 90 degrees and slide to the chest. These 4 planes form your cardiac screen. Plane 7. 4-chamber view, the foundation of every cardiac screen. Confirm, heart on the left, cardiac situs, roughly equal left and right chambers, both atria and both ventricles visible, both atrioventricular valves, mitral on the left, tricuspid on the right, intact interventricular septum and left and right lung echogenicity, any echogenic mass? Plane 8. Left ventricular outflow tract, LVOT. Rotate the probe slightly toward the right shoulder. The aorta should arise from the left ventricle. Look for continuity between the interventricular septum and the anterior aortic wall and any override or displacement. Plane 9. Right ventricular outflow tract, RVOT with LVOT crossover. Slide toward the head from plane 7. The pulmonary artery arises from the right ventricle and crosses over the aorta. That crossover is key. Parallel great vessels suggest transposition. Plane 10. 3-vessel trachea, 3VT view. Continue sliding toward the head. You should see 3 structures in a line. Pulmonary artery, largest, most anterior, aorta, and superior vena cava, smallest, most posterior, with the trachea behind and to the right of the aorta. Assess size, number, and arrangement. An absent or additional vessel or an abnormal arrangement warrants referral. Cardiac findings detectable in planes 7 to 10. Transposition of the great arteries, tetralogy of Fallot, AVSD, univentricular heart, large VSD, coarctation of the aorta, double aortic arch, right aortic arch, ectopia cordis, situs inversus or ambiguous situs, pericardial effusion greater than 4 mm, pleural effusion greater than 4 mm, and CPAM. Planes 11 to 13. Abdomen. Slide down from plane 10. Plane 11, transverse abdomen at stomach level. Identify the fluid-filled stomach bubble on the left and umbilical vein curving into the liver. Take the abdominal circumference, AC here. Refer if outside the normal range for gestational age. Plane 12, transverse abdomen at cord insertion. Slide distally. Confirm the cord inserts normally into the abdominal wall. An abdominal wall defect, gastroschisis to the right of the cord, omphalocele involving the cord itself, should be identifiable here. Plane 13, both kidneys and renal pelves. Slide and rotate to bring each kidney into view. Assess the presence and position of both kidneys and renal pelvic diameter. Measure the antero-posterior diameter. Refer if either renal pelvis exceeds 7 mm AP. Findings across planes 11 to 13 include gastroschisis, omphalocele, duodenal atresia, double bubble sign, echogenic bowel, bilateral renal agenesis, renal pelvic dilatation, absent or small stomach and ascites. Plane 14, pelvis, transverse pelvis. Move into the lower pelvis. Identify the fluid-filled urinary bladder, centrally placed and both umbilical arteries flanking the bladder on color Doppler. If you can only see one umbilical artery, this suggests a 2-vessel cord, also called a single umbilical artery, which is a referral criterion. Findings within plane 14 include lower urinary tract obstruction, distended bladder, thick-walled, cystic renal dysplasia, and single umbilical artery. Planes 15 to 17, limbs. Plane 15, ascites femur length. From the pelvis, slide and rotate to obtain a true longitudinal view of the femoral diaphysis. Measure both femurs. Refer if femur length falls outside the normal range. Plane 16. Assess both legs and feet. Slide and angle to confirm. 3 bones in each leg: femur, tibia, fibula, and foot at a normal angle to the leg. If the foot is fixed in plantar flexion and inversion, consider talipes. Plane 17 assesses both arms and both hands. Slide up to the upper chest and rotate. Confirm. 3 long bones in each arm: humerus, radius, ulna, and normal hand position. Limb findings include severe skeletal dysplasia, talipes, club foot, and fixed wrist flexion. Planes 18 to 20, fetal face. Return to the transventricular plane, plane 4, and navigate to the face from there. Plane 18 assesses coronal upper lip, nose, and nostrils. Rotate and slide to bring the face into a coronal view. The upper lip and both nostrils should be intact and symmetric. Any defect in the upper lip raises the possibility of cleft lip. Plane 19 assesses both orbits and lenses. Slide from plane 4. Confirm. 2 orbits, present, appropriately sized, and both lenses. Round echogenic structures within each orbit. Plane 20. The median facial profile. Angle to a true sagittal midline view of the face. Assess the forehead, nose, upper and lower lip, and the chin profile. A severely receding chin suggests micrognathia. An absent nose with a soft tissue protrusion suggests proboscis. Findings across planes 18 to 20. Cleft lip, anophthalmia, cataract, severe micrognathia, and proboscis. Sweep 2. Vertebral confirmation. Sweep 2 closes the scan. Return to the neck and perform a transverse sweep down the entire spine, 1 vertebra at a time, all the way to the sacrum. This sweep does 2 things. 1. Provides a final check on posterior structures that may have been suboptimal in the sagittal planes. 2. Acts as a quality assurance pass for the entire examination. Any finding you couldn't confidently characterize earlier, bring your attention back to it now. That is the 20+2 approach. 2 sweeps for global orientation, 20 planes for detailed anatomy. A logical sequence from spine to face that covers the entire fetus without duplication and without gaps. Master the normal appearances in each plane, and the abnormal ones become recognizable. If you found this useful, subscribe. We'll be going deeper into individual planes in upcoming videos: fetal cardiac views, the posterior fossa, and how to manage the awkward fetal position. See you in the next one.